Yes, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well on this rather very cold Friday morning. Hope you're all doing well. We've got some football to talk about, if that's what you want to call it, because let's be honest, yesterday was another disgrace from Tottenham. Disgraceful performance against the third best team at the moment in Scotland, the 16th best league in the world. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. We were disgraceful. No excuses yesterday. We were terrible. We looked devoid of actually anything. Look, let's delve into it, right? Look, the performance again wasn't acceptable for me. I don't get it with this manager. I don't get where the love for this manager comes from. Is there anyone out there that sits back and goes, I back this guy? I back this guy. Because why? What am I not seeing that everyone else, these other people are saying, trust in Ange? Because I'm at the point now, I don't want to back him. I don't see what this guy's, if he's any good at this football club, but I go, I want to back this guy. This guy knows what it's about. For me, I find this guy aggy in press conferences. This nice guy persona, I think it is just a persona. I don't know where it comes from. I'm really, really sick and tired of the Ange hype train for me. The hype train for Ange, just for me, is far too simplistic. Some of the players they're not playing for him, right? Do we genuinely think these players are playing for this manager? Like, it's what I'll do. We'll go into it. Let's use in the chat first. Big up Rinketic, he's first in the chat. Big up to you. Big up Scott Colliver. Big up, sir. How you doing, sir? Look, we'll worry about the FM stuff later. We're doing the FM stuff later. Let's worry about Tottenham right now, because we need to discuss a lot of this rubbish at the moment. Big up the Boomverse. Hope you're doing well. Big up to you, my friend. Mike Pepper, Purgy, let's get it right. Ange's out of his depth. It's not rocket science. Mike, this is it. I've not seen a manager so out of his depth, but get so much praise. It is madness. What is it with Ange that everyone goes, yeah, this is the guy I want to back the project, the process, the buzzwords you want to use, right? I've been Anging, however, my patience is wearing thin. I've heard Thomas Frank's name mentioned at the club yesterday, but unsure of the content. I'd love a Thomas Frank, and Areola. There's so many decent managers floating out there, right? There's so many decent managers floating out there. I don't get why we're persisting. Someone made a good point the other day. Well, last night was, it's very Spursy to back this manager now. We had the likes of Conte, whether or not I liked him or not, didn't back him really, did they? Jose, Pochettino, but they're gonna back this guy. Madness for me. Big up Sam Smith. Now, how you doing, my friend? Ange Postecoglou. Everyone knows that it's my way or the highway. Injuries are part of the game, and the players have to deal with it. Ange Ball is... No, he didn't say that. Come on. Let's not do fakes. He did not say that, did he? Don't do silly quotes, man. Come on. Yeah, big up to you, my friend. Big up Phil Coys. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. If you want to come on, mate, pop us a message. I'll invite you on. If only Ange would tweak a few things and plan B, C, or D. I just want to see a manager with in-game management. I'm bored of this attitude with this manager where there's no in-game management whatsoever. Ever. You don't see him go, do you know what? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes into a game, you go, let's change it up. Change it up and go, let's sort this out. For me, this guy he's not for me. He's not for me. And there's nobody out there that will go. There's nothing right now with the facts on the table that would make me go, yeah, okay, changing my opinion now. Change my opinion on him. Not for me. Not for me. Big up, Finn Rickwood. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're good. Big up. Big up Perchy. Manager calling out players as usual sign of the end. Yeah, it's ironic. This guy's a hypocrite, right? 2 days ago, 2 days before, he goes, I'd never call out a player. Then he goes and does it yesterday. And it's ironic. And I've titled this, what did I title it? I titled it, Werner publicly called out. That's what I titled this show. And for me, I find it madness, right? Madness. Gets called out. He calls out Werner. For me, I found it very clever. Werner's an easy target, easy scapegoat to have, right? Timo Werner. On loan. Gets a lot of stick from fans. I thought it was a strategic move to target. He could have picked out Heung-min Son, who I think Son has been absolutely awful for the last few months. Johnson's, apart from a few tap-ins at the back post, not a very good football player. So he could have picked somebody else. He picked Werner. Look, call me a cynic, right? Call me a cynic. But for me, I think it's a little bit, I think he's picked it specifically. Oh, Merry Christmas, Phil P. Absolute much love to you, my friend. Absolute top bloke. Much love, mate. And yeah, Phil Army. Purge brother, we don't get a result against Southampton. He should be sacked, but something tells me we're given to Liverpool. If he beats Liverpool, we go round in cycles. Look, mate, I don't get it, right? How many times do we not win games of football under this manager and he still survives? For me, I don't want. This is the first manager I go, do you know what? In January, do not give this guy any money. I'm actually now advocating Daniel Levy to not give this guy any money. Save it. Save this money for the next manager. There's no point. Does anyone, when you feel, do you know what it's like? Do you know what we feel like? I feel like we are now under this own manager now. We're like a banger car where you're patching it up with sellotape and plasters and like bolting on a new door and stuff. Like at the point, I feel like we're at the point where we should scrap the car and get a new car. Save the money trying to fix this car and use that money to buy a new car. Get a new car in, fresh, with new plans and stuff. That's the best analogy I can give with it. For me, this guy isn't for me. I don't rate this manager. No one can sit there and tell me I should rate this manager. He's not a very good manager. Big up Purge in chat. So angry about Ange calling Werner out. Carl, mate, if you want to come on, Carl, pop us a message. I'll invite you on, mate. I'll have this chat with you if you're free, mate. Chelsea is a prime example of no game in yeah, sir, mate. I could give you a list of examples of in-game management. Brighton this season, Brighton away, no game management. Yeah, mate. Eddie Howe, I'd have Eddie Howe. Finn, I'm at the point I'd have you in charge. I don't care anymore. People were trying to tell me, oh, this player is better than this player. For me, I don't care now, manager-wise. I'd have anyone. I'm at the point where I'd take Ryan Mason now. I don't care. This manager's not for me. He's not a very good manager. And until we start wising up, I don't get it where we're not seeing it. This easy target. You could probably get rid of Timo Werner in January, so you can. It's an excuse to get Timo Werner out in January, right? But for me, I think it's targeted. It's scapegoated him, man. I think it's awful management from him. I actually think we have a player more wank. Oh, well, we've got crap players. Timo Werner's awful, but like, I don't get it, man. Perchy, no, I said it in jest last night. It was said in jest, Mapping. I said I'd take anyone at this moment. I love when you say a joke and it gets taken out, it gets used. I said it as a joke, my friend. I said it. If you watch the whole bit at the end of it, no, I said I'm taking the piss. But I'm saying my point is I don't want this manager anymore. I would take anyone. That was the whole point. I used it. It was a little bit of clickbait, man. I mean, it was a little bit of a joke. Come on. Ange genuinely rates Werner as a footballer. Yeah, Werner's rubbish for me. I had us to beat Rangers and Southampton and us to lose the next 4 after. Ange is in serious trouble. John, I agree. I had him to win both. Not for me. I think I'd even take Potter. I think Graham Potter's an all right manager. He's all right. Do you know what? I'm at this point where I just want a manager that looks at the squad and goes, round pegs, round holes. Simple, right? Simple. What time is the Southampton game? You can say it in Barcelona time because they're in the same time zone. I think I want to say 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock. I mean, I'm going to watch the darts, if I'm honest. I'll be honest, I'm going to watch the darts over watching us against Southampton. If we lose to Southampton, I think he gets to Liverpool just to pull the final now of the coffin. I think if you're a proper owner and a proper chairman, you sack him if he doesn't win that, because at least you get a new manager bounce against Man United in the Carabao Cup, and it gives you half a chance to try and win that. Finn, I agree. He shouldn't be given anything anymore. He's been given so much backing by this club. Whether or not we rate the players or not, he's been given loads of money. For what? For what, right? Son is past it. He's been lost. Son's gone for a while, mate. I agree. Should be thankful for him in the time. Yep, agreed. To be sold now, many players. Also, Son is no leader and shouldn't be kept. Decky should. For me, I don't think we've got a leader. We could say Decky, fine. I don't see where our leaders are in this club, personally. I would argue maybe you could say Kulusevski leading by example to an extent, maybe. Southampton game is it's 7 o'clock. No, so it kicks off at 8 o'clock, it says for me. Or is it? Or am I wrong? Yeah, it says it's 7 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock UK time. Yeah, Finn, I'd have anyone. That was the whole joke, the whole Sol Campbell joke. It was a joke. It's funny, isn't it? When people want to pull up stuff that I've said, I say things as a little bit of a joke because I think it's hilarious right now. By the way, Purge, what's the cost of living in Spain? Yeah, it's all right. It's better than the UK in cost of living stuff. Big up Simply Ace. Hey, Perch and everyone. I've never seen Tottenham manage to get away with things like Ange. This garbage has been going on for 14 months. Why don't the Ange supporters wake up? Ange was so polarizing. Ange was so polarizing as a manager, right? He's really hot and cold. People like him because he says mate a lot and they look at him as some sort of father figure, uncle figure. But for me, I think this guy's a crap manager, tactically awful. Ange is good at talking. Ange is a great talker. Ange should be a politician. He'd be an amazing politician because he says loads and loads of stuff, then doesn't follow any of it through. But a lot of people live and die on what he says. Ange will sit there and say, we're going to win a league, mate. And our fans will go, we're winning a league this season because he said it. But then we get battered week in, week out. It's madness. Yeah, I know. I was raging last night. My head was gone last night. I just can't stand this manager. Oh, wicked. I'll send it over to you now, mate. Let's do it this way. No, I'll do it this way, actually, because I've got the link here. Just bear with me. Guys, smash the like button quickly whilst I do this. I'll get Carl on. Me and Carl were the reunited with the Spurs podcast. There you go, mate. Give us a shout. I'll bring you in. Phil, I'd have you. I think you'd be able to set up this team better than Ange Postecoglou. 100%. 100%. Nah, man. Get the darts on. Luke Lilla versus hopefully Thibaut Tricol in the second round final will be good. I'm waiting for more. Honestly, Ange he talks so much. Mapping. I'd have Ten Hag. I think he's not a great manager. But he's better than this guy, right? The bar is so low. As I said, go to Charlton and ask their manager if Charlton's manager can come and manage us. That's how low I rate this guy. He's an awful manager. Serious question though, looking at how we're falling down the table, if we lose to Southampton, are we in a relegation scrap? Nah. The one that we're not going to be in a relegation scrap because we've got enough quality to get us out of there. We'll win. The one thing what we are doing is we'll win enough games to not get relegated, right? Spurs, I mean, they always say the gap is around about 40 points, short of 40 points, maybe 36, 38. Spurs will win about 12 games of football this season for it to... Spurs will win about 12 games of football to stay in the division, right? By the way, doesn't justify it. We're crap, but we're not going to get relegated. We're not going to lose that many games. Big up, Carl. How you doing, my friend?
How you doing, Perchy? You okay, mate?
Oh, hang on. Now you're here, I've got to put the big earmuffs on. How you doing, mate? How you doing?
Yeah, how are you, buddy? You okay?
Oh, mate, do you know what? I'm just bored about Tottenham now. I find us so repetitive. 1 win in 8. Oh, mate.
I know, mate. It's depressing last night, when it absolutely depressing. Another depressing performance. Another inept tactical performance as well. It just repeats itself, doesn't it?
Do you know what yesterday, which was so telling yesterday? I saw Philippe Clement on the touchline barking orders at his players.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, let's go for the jugular. We can kill these off here. Our manager sits like that, or hands in his pockets, not saying a word. Right now, we're in a crisis, Ange. I want you on the touchline, at least making an effort.
Yeah.
Look, listen, may it have made a difference? I don't know, right? We don't know the answer to that question. But at least show a bit of fight in you. Start barking a few orders. It's funny, isn't it, right? He calls out Timo Werner. Where was he calling Timo Werner out on the touchline during the first half? Said nothing. Yet he has the audacity to call him out at the end of the game. Listen, by the way, I don't rate Timo Werner.
Yeah.
You know, I don't rate Timo Werner. But for me, the Werner one was targeted because it's an easy one. Yeah. It's an easy scapegoat. And all the people that love this manager will go, look, there you go. He's calling out Timo Werner. Hang on. Nah. Be serious here. This guy is doing it on purpose. Make it look like that he knows what he's doing. Hang on. Nah. Not for me. He should have called out, if he was gonna call out Werner, he should have called out Son. He should have called out Johnson. Definitely. He should have called out Porro was crap in that first half.
Absolutely awful.
The two guys in midfield, people saying Bentancur had a good game. I mean, the bar was so low. The bar was so low. The fact he made 3 successful passes made him have a good game. It became like that, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like as you say, how many times last night as well did Johnson pick the ball up where he had a one-on-one with a fullback, and you can see as soon as he gets the ball, his first thought is, let me get rid of it as quick as possible. Let me turn back. Where's my fullback? Where is he? Because I don't want to attempt to try and take this fullback on and get into the box, maybe make him make a tackle or whip a cross in. And as you say, the fact that Ange has picked Werner to come out and say what he's done about him, it just shows weak management, in my opinion. And once you start doing that and start picking on players like that, I think you're starting to see the cracks are appearing now, and the pressure is getting to Ange, and he's seeing that he cannot cope. And right now, he's a prickly beast. Anyone says anything, he'll snap, and he's going to talk himself into the sack, unfortunately. And another performance like that at the weekend against Southampton, and I think that's it for him.
Oh, I agree. I just want to pick up Phil Peebo. I want to pick this up. When it's worked, it's been amazing. I'll caveat the whole thing. But too many issues, I don't think you can turn it around. Not all on Ange, I agree. But he's a massive question to answer. This is the thing for me, Phil. And Carl, I'll get your thoughts on it. It's a really good talking point. When it goes right for Spurs, when the manager doesn't have to change anything, we look fine. It's like if our tactic works, our only tactics work, we look okay. The second another manager goes, we just go, and then we don't react to their changing of tactics, and immediately we look out of a game. Chelsea the other day, 2-0 up, Maresca goes, and then we battered. They batter us. Yesterday, the Rangers manager, I mean, let's be fair, first off, if they didn't have a striker that was signed from the Moroccan league, That's where they signed him from, the Moroccan league. No disrespect, by the way. I thought he had a good game, but
how many games have we said that in so far this season, Perchy? Where you sit there and go, "I'll tell you what, if this mob had a decent forward, we'd be out of this game already."
I felt like that's been the whole Europa League thing. And ironically, the team that did have a good striker in Osimhen battered us off the park, right? So for me, it was the one team that had a striker. You go, "Oh, now I'm worried."
Yeah,
they turned us over. And let's be fair, the consolation goals at the end don't really protect how crap we were. 3-2 makes us look good in that game, makes that game look competitive.
Well, again, we've done that as well in a few games, haven't we? Like Chelsea at the weekend, Bournemouth only scoring 1. There's been games we've lost where people go, well, on paper, you've only lost 1-0 or lost by 1 goal. But you actually go, if you watch that game, we should have been well out of sight. This game should have been dead and buried. And that, as you say, those consolation goals make it look better than it actually is and was. And the one thing they said it in commentary last night, Ange can't change anything. All he does is bring on 4 players and just go and play in the same positions. And I hope that you might play better than the players that I've basically taken off. He doesn't go, all right, maybe I'll bring on another forward and we'll see if we can cause them problems this way. Maybe we'll, go 3 at the back all of a sudden and change it this way. All he does is go, you 3, go on, play in the same positions.
Like for like, isn't it? It's always like for like.
Like for like subs.
He had 2 strikers on the bench with 1-0 down in the second half. For me, you go over to someone like, you go to like Johnson. You're coming off. We're going to put Lancashire up top, and we'll bring off. We'll bring off Adogi. I'm just picking.
Yeah.
You're off.
Changed, didn't you?
Lancashire, Solanke. You 2 up top now. Madison, you tuck in behind them.
Yeah.
We'll bring Kulu on. You play in and around. You can do whatever. You don't sort of go, do you know what? We are. You're right. It's like for like every single time. You don't sort of go, do you know what? I always call it the kitchen sink. When are we going to throw the kitchen sink and try and win the game? If we lose 2-0, we lose 2-0. Well, look, they'll go. The argument will be, well, we got a point. Playing Rangers. Is it that the level? No disrespect to Rangers fans, but they are awful.
Well, last night as well, when we got the equaliser, I actually thought we'd go on and win the game at that point because you could see they were spent.
Yeah,
they'd run out of energy. And as you say, a brave change where you go, let's go 2 up top now.
Yeah.
And let's try and nick this 2-1. And we might have actually got something. But
I agree. They had the better chances at the end, though. They should have probably nicked it in the death. I mean, Fraser Forster pulled off that wonder save. There was the other it was this Forster one. There was one at the end where he misses the target and you go, have you missed?
The winger Kearney, I mean, he was tearing us apart all night long, and he had a brilliant run late in that game just before he come off where he could have finished. And it's just depressing. And like as you say, it just shows you've got a manager who tactically doesn't know how to get the best out of this team. And last night, I think with the attack on Werner, I think you're now seeing a squad that are thinking, I don't think this is the man anymore. And you could see some of them I don't think are playing for him anymore. I think they've had enough.
I agree. And up the wifey. Wifey's in chat. Big up wifey. It's basically a shit pie. The base is soggy and the filling is awful and a sprinkle of crap. I love the analogy. That might be the title of the show. We might say that one. I might title the show as that. I kind of like it. It's a shit pie, soggy base. Filling is awful and it's sprinkled with crap. I love that one. I love the analogy. She actually put in a football thing. I don't know if she's got this from me or I like it. I'm rubbing off on her and I feel really bad that I'm making her watch football and stuff.
Well, if you've got to suffer, mate, then
I know. I'm
fair.
sharing the suffering. I do. By the way, I do agree with this. By the way, the full blame doesn't fall on the manager.
Yeah.
But what I would say with it, was, I always put it like this. I agree. We should be getting better players. We're a massive club when it comes to financial spending. We are a massive club when it comes to financial spending. We should be getting better players. I don't think we can argue with that. I think that is a fair point. What I will say with it, though, with this manager is he getting the best out of the players that we've got? Let's be fair with it. We haven't got the best squad in the world. We're better than that, though.
Yeah.
We're better than that. Look, even with injuries, that team that was put out under a manager that can tactically assure, we go and win that game 2 or 3-0 and you go, job done. 2 or 3-0, 3-1 if you want to call it. But for me, I find it incredible, really. I find it really, really incredible. Like, I don't get it with this club. I don't get it how this manager, and someone I mentioned at the top of the show, but someone made a great point. It is so Spursy to back this manager now.
Yeah.
To back, only Spurs can go and back the wrong manager, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That is the most Spursy thing to do, because it wouldn't shock me now that Daniel Levy goes and backs this guy, gives him 100 million quid in the summer. I, for one, do not want to give this guy another penny.
Yeah, wouldn't give him another pound.
Because the way I always look at it, right, and I always look at it in synergy. Is this guy going to be here at the end of the season? I don't think so.
No.
Is he going to be here at the start of next season? I don't think so. So why back it now?
Yeah.
Go, do you know what? If you, whether or not you keep him to the end of the season or you sack him tomorrow, why would you go and throw another £100 million at this guy? I'm at the point now, it sounds really crazy. People in the chat will hate what I'm about to say. I'm all for getting club signings right now. Players that we go, do you know what? We're going to get in for the next manager. Why waste time at this point? Because is this guy going to be the long-term successor? No. And it's kind of this moment. I'm at that mindset at the moment, right, where people go, well, give him the Carabao Cup. Why? What earned for it? People go, oh, he got us there. But my point is you could sack him today, bring in somebody new, have Ryan Mason take over the Southampton game, but then the new guy comes in at home against Man United in the cup midweek, and you go, do you know what? There we go. There you go.
Do you know what I think? You know what I could see happening, Perch, is I wouldn't be surprised if the club are now already sounding out possibles or starting to think about possibles. And I think if we was to lose to Southampton, I think they would say, listen, this bloke's done. Let's give him the Liverpool game, because ultimately that puts, if you like, another final now in his coffin, losing, because no one expects us to beat Liverpool at home. And obviously one thing you wouldn't do is bring a new manager in, give him a start off of a Liverpool game where you think, well, that might be a loss on his first game. But once you lose to Liverpool, get him out. And you'd like to think if Daniel Levy's got any chance of saving the season, you'd be tapping up Thomas Frank right now and sounding Brentford out, saying, listen,
Iraola,
we want this bloke.
I'd have Hertzler at Brighton. I'd go to Brighton and go, how much for your boy? We want him and your scouting lot. We'll buy the whole lot of you and bring them all in one go.
That's the other thing we've always said as well, isn't we, Perchy? That if Ange goes, I want the coaches to all go as well, because they've clearly shown over a number of years that they clearly ain't. I mean, Ryan Mason has shown enough now, isn't he, that he needs to go and get a job as a manager if he wants to progress his career. But have we seen that he's going to be have we seen that he's been a decent coach? Because he's not having an effect on the players by the looks of it from what's happening on the training pitches, are they? So, I think they've all got to go.
Oh, I agree. What I want now is the next project process, buzzword central. You know, I hate buzzwords. Whatever one you want to use it, you've got to kind of go full deep into it.
Yeah.
Go, we're going to bring in insert manager, his assistant manager, all the coaching staff that he wants. We will pay off whoever we've got in. They're gone. You're in. We go and dump a whole new team basically in there and go start from scratch. Anyone at the club right now, free, clean slate, we go again.
Yeah.
And we start from there. I would go and get a young manager. I'd go if I was Spurs, fans won't like it, but because he's not a massive name. I'd go over to Celta Vigo, nab their manager, who is his first job at Celta Vigo. He came through there, he managed their academy and all that lot, and he's worked his way up. He's 36 years old. I'd go over to him and go, we'll have you. You're coming in. We want you in. Bring your staff in. His philosophy is really good. He plays some really good football with probably one of the second worst team in Spain. Celta Vigo are crap. No disrespect. I mean, Rafa Benitez was not the year before and they were awful. He's coming. They play a good style of football. You go and find, though, he's the sort of manager that go in and get you those talented Spanish players for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
You go and you build a philosophy and an ideology at Tottenham. Like, yeah, he's not the most glamorous name. I don't want a glamorous name coming in now. The next manager's got to be in. Has got to be tactically sound.
Yeah.
But we go full steam at it.
Yeah.
He plays back three. He can play a back four. This guy, he's a good guy. If anyone's in the chat and you're bored, go and watch some of what Celta Vigo have done this season under this guy. They used to play. They used to be the Stoke of Spain. Now they play some lovely football this season under this guy. They used to literally just be long ball, big boy up top and hope for the best. But
we need that manager who's proven that they can take, because we now know, don't we? We're never going and getting the best quality players. We're not going out and spending the money to bring in real quality. So you've got to get a proven manager who works with players of less quality, but gets the most out of those players. And I just think, yeah, you bring another manager in, maybe they get more from Johnson. Maybe they get more from Maddison. You'll see the difference, I think. When this guy goes, and I've said it before, when this guy goes, when Ange goes, I bet you'll see players like Maddison come out at some point going, it was never going to work under this bloke.
Yeah.
Tactics were mad, you know.
Carl, it's a great point. I can't wait for those moments when, like, players have left the football club and then they go, honestly, working under this guy was incredible. Like, he never showed up in training.
Yeah.
He would go and say to players all this wacky stuff. I imagine it will be like that. I think that players
just be like, his tactical insight to us was, don't pass backwards.
Yeah, and it was
great.
we must pass forward at every opportunity, and that's why we kept losing the ball, because we were told not to pass backwards.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
I'd have Michel Sanchez. Michel Sanchez, a good manager at Girona. He completely overachieved with them last season. Sort of manager like that I can go, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I can't get it. People were trying to just say trust the process and all this nonsense. I can't, because I don't know what it is. What is the process under this guy? What's the plan? Yeah. I don't know what it is. I can't trust something I don't believe in. It's like, do you trust going into a bus that was driven by a monkey? You'd go, no, I wouldn't. Why would I get into a bus driven by a monkey? Why would I do that? Like, why would I trust drinking from a pond of dirty water?
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust drinking from that because it might get me ill. Like, this nonsense of just trust it. No. Why would I?
We have trusted it for 12 months, haven't we? And look where it's got us. Over the last 12 months, right now, look where we are. It's I don't know how much. We're the only club, I think, that always say, don't we? Our manager needs time. Give him time. Well, look at Maresca. He's gone in, and within the space of a few months, look what he's done with Chelsea. He doesn't need 2 years, does he, to get it right?
I'm just at that point, right? I'm just at that point where I go, all I hear is rebuild. That's not how life works. It's never been like that. Like, for example, if I go to a job as a manager, I don't do a very good job. They don't sack the whole team and then bring in a whole new team. They sack the manager, bring in somebody else that can galvanize his workforce, and then you get going again. Do we need to rebuild what we've got? No, we've got. I always say we've got a good nucleus, not an amazing one, not a crap one. A good nucleus of players.
Yeah.
Bentancur, he's a good player. Basuma on his day, good player. Maddison's a good player. Kulu, good player. Solanke's an all right player, good player. Like, we've got Romero, Van de Ven, good players. I'm just spitballing players, right?
Yeah,
they're good players. They're not. Some of them aren't the greatest. Some of them aren't the worst. Can you go in and pick a player and go, so pick a manager in and go, do you know what? I see what I've got. I think we need to tighten up at the back because the way Tottenham are playing at the moment is too chaotic. You're conceding too many goals. We're scoring goals at the other end. I'm not worried about that. You're scoring goals. We batten up the hatches at the back and we'll carry on doing what we're doing up front. It's not rocket science. It should be quite simple, right?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why for me, my first choice would be Frank from Brentford, because I think if he comes in with his Prem experience, I think if you give him players like Maddison, Bentancur, Bissouma, Sarr, Solanke, Kulusevski, Son, Johnson, and the defensive unit.
Yeah.
I just think when you think about what he might be able to do with them players, and then you would trust him to go, well, in the summer, he might be able to bring Mbeumo over. He
Yeah.
might be. Look what he's done with players like Nordegaard and stuff like that. And
He brought in Ethan Pinnock from
yeah,
Barnsley.
Ethan Pinnock, yeah.
He
And
brought
when you
Ethan
look
Pinnock
at what
from
he's doing
Barnsley.
there, what could he do with some of those players we've got? I think it'd be frightening under him.
I agree. Do you know what would actually be good, actually? And Burmo's a good example, but do you know what players I would have from Brentford? A Christian Norgard.
Yeah.
Not the prettiest name, not the prettiest player. Hard-working midfielder.
Yeah.
Watch Norgard play. I've got mates that are Brentford fans, and they talk to me. Hard worker midfielder. Same with Janelt as well. Hard working midfielder. Centre halves, as I said, Pinnock, not the greatest name. I'd have him in right now.
Yeah.
I'd have him in right now. Maybe not playing these chaotic and awful tactics, but you go in and put in a defender that can just sit in that back four and go,
yeah.
I will give you a 6 out of 10 today every week.
Yeah.
Big up the Villa fan. As a Villa fan, the biggest problem is Johan Lang. He was our former DOF. He's the reason we're in PSR trying putting on average players on 90, 100k a week. He's all football players. Haven't seen anything from this guy that I go, who's he signed that I go, oh, I can back someone like that. As I said, this isn't just an Ange problem. This is a Lange problem, Scott Munn problem, a Levy problem, an Enid problem. It's everything.
The club is rotten top to bottom, isn't it, Perch, ultimately?
Top to
bottom. Yeah. The club is rotten and everything needs to change. I mean, Carragher and those guys hit the nail on the head, didn't they? You know, even if ENIC aren't going to go, because I think we all know when ENIC are not going anywhere, even if there's protests and that, I don't think they remove ENIC. But they need to make the changes to the way they operate the club, and certain people need to step out of what's happening. Daniel Levy needs to step out of football operations. I don't think it'll ever happen, but yeah, the club from top to bottom is the problem.
Damsgaard's a great example. Damsgaard, he turned Damsgaard from a decent winger to a very, very good central midfielder, by the way.
Yeah.
He plays centrally and looks an absolute top player, by the way. We were linked with him, by the way, before they got him. I would have had him in. I'd have him in over any of our wide players right now. Any one of our wide, and I'm including Heung-min Son in this conversation right now. Big up, Paul, mate. No, you didn't, mate. No. All I was saying, mate, absolutely. I haven't got an issue with opinions, mate. It's all part of it, man. You weren't rude, you weren't disrespectful, mate. It's all cool. No, don't be silly at all, man. That's why I brought this debate on for you. That was what I done. No, I'm joking. I was doing this one anyway because I knew what was gonna happen yesterday. But look, for me, I just want a manager who knows what they're doing. And then if we flip it to the owners, because we'll have that little dabble. And I had the conversation last night, and I made the point of when I hear about what we want with Levy, ENIC out, we'll call it that. I think it's not about that specifically. I think it's a bigger, broader issue. I think it's an ideology problem at Tottenham than an individual problem. I don't think it's one problem with an individual. One individual has created the ideology. However, with the ideology at Tottenham being the bottom line, the financial bottom line, that's the ideology at Tottenham. As I said, that's why I don't think anything happens about the Carabao Cup. Win or lose, we're not bothered with it. I'll be honest, if we get knocked out of that, I'm not saying me, I'm saying we as the club, before people say it's me and you, we as the club don't care about the Carabao Cup because it makes us £500,000 if we win it.
Yeah.
But finishing one place higher up in the league can gain you as much as 5 million extra. That's how our club operates. They look at where finishing position in the league is financially better off in prize money than winning a cup double.
Yeah.
That you get more money finishing bottom in the Premier League. This is what, by the way, this isn't a Tottenham issue. This is an institution problem that finishing bottom in the league gains you more financial power than winning a cup double, a domestic cup double. I said this to people get annoyed about. If you finish bottom of the Premier League, you should get nothing. Your prize money should be nothing. You are the worst team out of 20. You should be financially given nothing. Like, And if you're at the top, you should be getting the most if you get at the top, like substantial. I think, and it's the same, right? I also say with like, if we talk about the cups, we'll move on from it because I want to divert it to what I mean about Tottenham for a second. Was I've always said both cup tournaments should be guaranteed Champions League football because that way it gives an incentive to win that. But to divert it back to that's the problem. Why we've exploiting that problem in the system is why we are where we are. Ideology changes is what I've always said, because it doesn't matter if Daniel Levy leaves tomorrow, is sacked tomorrow, and someone else comes in. They've built the empire. You just need someone to sit in the hot seat and go, just carry it on. And
yeah, I mean, it's become a business. It's a business, isn't it, Perchy? It's an entertainment business now, isn't it? It's not a football club on its own. It's an entertainment business where the view on the football pitch is just do enough to keep us in those European spots.
Yep.
And that will do in terms of the football side of things. It keeps the profile of the club somewhere where it needs to be. We're in the European spotlight. And we don't then have to kind of push even more. So we can keep earning the money. The club's still in the spotlight. We've done enough because we just want to keep making sure the business keeps where it needs to be and we can keep selling the stadium out.
Yeah. And the thing is you're right. And we're now at a position where we don't even need Champions League football anymore.
Yeah.
That's not, whereas before the new stadium, top four was the aim. If you didn't make that, you're out. Someone's coming in, and your aim is to get into the Champions League and get the Champions League money. We now don't need that level of money anymore from the Champions League because we make enough. We're the third richest club when it comes to match day revenue. We make the third. Let that sink in. Only PSG and Barcelona currently. Real Madrid will go above us because they've just put their new stadium. So once those financials, Real Madrid will skyrocket above us. But right now, currently, we're the third highest. We don't need Champions League money anymore. So as long as we're still in Europe, and we're still in that European pedigree, as they want to call it. So now, as long as a manager finishes anywhere between 1st and 7th, doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter. And that's why now the club don't have to go and spend loads of money, because do you know what? We can finish 7th. We spend £100 million on 5 players. That will get us into into European football now. And I think we're now at a position where Champions League isn't even the priority anymore. I think we used to be 5, maybe even 10 years ago. That was the priority. Champions League was the be-all and end-all being at Tottenham because it got us a load of money. Now we built this over the last decade, this whole new stadium, all the deals and all this lot. We have deals. We at the moment have got more deals than wins in the league at the moment this season. That's not even a joke, by the way. Go and research it, guys. We have more deals than Premier League wins this season. Let that sink in. And by the way,
I think as well with the transfer policy, what they do is success on the pitch will just be luck more than anything. But what they do is, like, when they buy these young players with so-called potential, the view is, listen, we'll buy these players with young potential, but big sell on, so that if they do come on the scene and suddenly we have the next Gareth Bale on our hands, well, one, on the football pitch as a club, we might get 2 years of success from it by having that player. And at which point then he'll move on because the Madrids or that will come in. We make a big sell on profit. But success on the football pitch to ENIC will happen just by chance and by luck. It's not being designed to be successful on the football
basically,
pitch.
if we nick a cup this season, it isn't because we built it to win a trophy this season. We've nicked a cup. That's literally the same. But we've become Chelsea light now. We followed Chelsea's model, but by not bringing in better players. So what? But you're right. We would rather spend, and I used the analogy yesterday. We could spend £40 million. We could spend £40 million on Archie Gray. We'll use that as an example. Hold that thought. 18-year-old, £40 million. But that gives us at least 10 years of longevity with a player. 10 years, 28. And if it goes well, his skyrocket of his price becomes double, quadruple, triple, whatever the price tag becomes, because he's grown into the superstar. Whereas what we need right now is a £40 million player that's at 29 at his prime that can slot straight in. But we won't do that because it doesn't benefit longevity. Because £40 million over a 3-year contract, we can't extend that. And at the end of the 3 years, when he's 32, we probably get £5-10 million for him, and we lose £30 million on that. Whereas most football clubs, I say most because there's some that don't, buy what they need. Brighton's a great example. Brighton go down buying the young route, but what do they also do? They go, do you know what? What we need right now, though, is a James Milner. Yeah. We need a James Milner in our midfield. We need a Danny Welbeck scoring goals at the age of 31. We need an Adam Webster at 28. I think they signed him at 27. So Brighton's an example where if you do the mold, the balance right, it works. Yeah. We're a better team than Brighton. We should be getting Beliebers into our midfield. Yeah. But we should also be getting in decent players with him to go, you're going to build around him. We've now gone down this road of buying a load of kids, Gray, Bergvals, Eurodogis, Yang's coming in a few weeks. Poor Sod's going to come in a few weeks and don't know what's it, the poor Sod. I feel sorry for him. He's going to come in and already the pressure's up here because we've not got very good wingers and everyone's going to go, get him to start immediately. We don't know this guy's ready yet. He's doing it in Korea. Credit to him. You're coming to the big time now. Now, can you do it on a cold afternoon in Goodison Park in Liverpool? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? We don't know. As I said, he could come in and do brilliantly. We don't know. I'm just using him as the example. But you just think, what are we doing here? What are we doing
here? It's about the right mixture, isn't it? But no one has a problem buying young players. You've got to buy young players, but you need to mix that in with that. Right, I've brought 3 players that come in and impact the first team straight away, and then I've brought 2 youngsters that I'm prepared to give time. They learn off of these experienced pros. They get their minutes in the League Cup and that here and there, and they develop. And they've got a couple of years to develop under these good senior pros. Yeah, we don't do that as a club. So just all young players, all inexperienced, and then we wonder why the results are up and down.
Do you know what I'm wondering? By the way, Carl, we've got 75 people in here, but 25 likes. That's a third of likes. Yeah. Come on, guys, smash up the like button. Let's get to 50 immediately. There's 75 of you in here and 25 likes. Smash the like button. At least get to 50. That'd be wicked if we could do that.
It's free as well, isn't it, Perch? It's free.
Free. You are all like Daniel Levy if you're not liking the button. And Ben, you're in the chat. I can see. Can you whack Cole's link in the chat? Make sure you go and subscribe to Cole's channel, man. Really good creator. Come back onto the channel, back into the scene, man. Mate, I'm so numb with it right now with Tottenham. Yeah. I don't even care anymore. Like I used to care. Pat, well, mate, I know you're doing it on a wind up. You know this guy. We had this conversation the other day. You know this guy's crap. The medical team are poor, but the manager decided to play Van der Ven and Romero. The medical team aren't going to sit there and say they're going to say he's okay to play, but it's a risk. If you I used the example the other day. If you watch I want to say it was the Arsenal one on not to Darius, that's a Spurs thing. The Amazon thing. The Spurs had one, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
And if you watch them when a player gets injured, what the medical staff actually say, and it was a good insight because everyone just thinks the medical team go, oh yeah, you can play Romero. No, what they say is they'll say, look, he's just come back from injury. You need to bleed him back in slowly, but he's fit to play. He'll be available to play, but you might want to take it easy. The manager then takes a decision if he starts him or not. Didn't have to start Romero. He didn't have to start Van der Ven. Where I agree, our medical team is crap. But the manager basically sacrificed 2 defenders
desperation, wasn't it?
It was
It was a manager who was desperate, who thought, I need a result here, no matter what.
If we'd won 6 games in a row, 5 or 6 games in a row, he doesn't do that, does he?
No,
he doesn't do that.
100%.
But now we're now up to 8 games with 1 win. 8 games, 1 win. Spurs that. If we don't get a result against Southampton, is he gone? Do you think he's gone or not? I mean, we touched on it a moment ago. Guys in the chat, if we don't beat Southampton on the weekend, is Ange making, because in the poll, I've put it in the poll, you can use the poll as well. Does Ange make it to 2025? That's the question.
I think lose at Southampton at the weekend, and for me, that's it. It's game over. I don't think he gets another. And I think that would also be the result that would turn any fan who's still possibly holding on to any hope. I've seen on Twitter today fans who are massively anging, actually starting to go, I might actually need to hold my hands up here and say I might have been wrong. And the way the club is, the transfer policy in the summer might have been wrong. And I think, yeah, defeat at the weekend, and it seals it for me.
I agree. Pat Moore's come back and said, who do we get in? I listed about 10 names a minute ago. I listed literally 10, mate. Hertzler, Iraola. We just said it's Frank. Yeah, so Frank, Thomas Frank. I'd have Nuno back at this point. I'd have Giraldez at Celta Vigo. The Betis manager's a top manager. I'd get the Girona manager in. That's what's that, 7? I'll get to 10, by the way. I'd have Graham Potter. That's 8. Who else is? I'd have Xavi right now at this point. That's 9. Who else is not? Terzic. Someone in the chat, help me. There you go. That's 10 managers. A click of a finger, I'd have him right now. I'd have Gasperini at Atalanta.
It's such a strange argument, isn't it? As to like, yeah, but who do you get in? What? So anyone. You stick with someone who isn't working? That's the point. Stick, do we?
As I said, Carl, I'm at that point. I'd have you in charge. I think this guy is atrocious. Genuine. People think I joke when I say, yeah, get him. I'd have David Moyes in this guy. I'm not taking the mick. This guy is an awful manager. What people don't get, when it happened on the show last night. We were on the show last night. And big up Danny, by the way. Big up Danny. Go and subscribe to Danny. Danny's a top guy, top creator. But he went, I'd have Southgate over this guy. And everyone was going, oh my God, you want Southgate? Well, hear what he said. He said, if there was a pick or choose out of 2 managers, he would have. And by the way, I agree with him. This Ange is worse than Southgate. They're totally different. But Southgate wouldn't have lost that game yesterday. We would have been shit. The football would have been crap, right? But we wouldn't have lost against Rangers last night. By the way, this isn't me. You have to caveat because everyone jumps to it like that. You make it. I don't want Gareth Southgate as my manager. But
the thing is, as well, Percy,
better than this guy.
I'll ask you a question. When Ange gets sacked, and I'm going to say when Ange gets a sack, job,
he's not making it. Yeah,
he will not get a job at another club like Spurs, and he'll just disappear into the background of football. In no way anyone else is touching, and that's the bigger question, isn't it? Go round and ask clubs who would want Ange as their manager.
Yeah,
no one would be sticking their hands up.
If you ask clubs that are bigger than ours, do any of them want him? You ask Arsenal fans, would you have him over Arteta? Man United fans, they're below us in the league, but they wouldn't have him. People were talking about this would be the next Man City manager. Liverpool wouldn't have him. Any club bigger than Spurs, would you take this guy? Because as I said this to you before, right? I've said this to you before. This is the biggest job Ange Postecoglou will ever have. And that I stand by that statement. I stand by that statement. I don't see where he gets it. I just don't. Honestly, Bella, I was going to say, if you had said he'd gone, this would have been the biggest stream ever, by the way. If he was sacked on stream, by the way, we will be going live all day. Everyone, we will be having a plaster of his picture. The champagne will be out. I'll be cheesing beers at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Honestly, it sounds horrible. I don't mean it in a horrible. I'm talking in jest. He's still a bloke. He's a nice bloke. He's not a bad bloke.
I don't
but
think
it's
no one's
not
got anything against him, have they? Other
nothing
than the
personal.
fact that we
This
just
is
don't rate
business,
him as a
right?
manager.
I agree. It's business. As my mate Ben Coffin says, this is business. And exactly, sub, man. Sub to the channel, man. When we started, we were 30 away from 2,600. We had a big spike, which was wicked. We had a big spike. How far are we away now? Wow, we've had 9 subs today. That's amazing. So we're now 21 away. If we can get to 2,600 today, that'd be amazing. Thank you very much, guys, for the like. And please go over and subscribe to Carl, because he's given up his morning to chat with me on my stream. So thank you very much.
Therapy, mate. I needed the therapy.
It's good, isn't it? It's good just to let it out. I like it. I
Yeah.
enjoy just letting it out. It's sometimes really good. I know you got to drop in a minute as well.
I'm going to drop in a second. Yeah.
Oh,
mate.
okay. Oh, wicked. No, that's absolutely fine. Ben, if you're in the chat, you know the drill. I'll just leave it with Ben to do the drill. He knows what to do. He will be here. This is how you guys end up. Zeus, don't say you're part of us now. By the way, unfortunately, you can't say with you guys anymore. You are the guys now. You're part of the guys. You're a part of us, so they have to suffer this. Who is genuine? Look, the one thing I will say on this, I have a really different opinion. A lot of people have this opinion. Who would come to Tottenham? And I've got a theory on it. I think Tottenham, and hear me out before I hear. I think Tottenham is the easiest job in the Premier League. Hear me out, because no matter what, it's a win-win. If it goes well, and when I say goes well, you win a trophy. So even if it's the Carabao Cup, you're going to be lauded at this football club.
Yeah.
But if it goes wrong, you get paid out of your contract very comfortably. I think when people say who would be interested, I think there's tons of managers. Tottenham is still a big club.
Mm-hmm.
When I say big club, they're a big club in the context of we can pay good money for a manager, and we can pick a Bournemouth or a Brighton. I use those two and go, we'll have your guy. We have that. We still have that power.
Yeah,
I do get the point of big managers wouldn't be interested.
Yeah.
So I think there's two different things. So I do get what Suze saying. She's right in a part of it. Big managers, the Joses and the Contes now aren't looking at Tottenham. Pochettino took us to that position where we could attract a Jose Mourinho and an Antonio Conte. Now, unless you're getting in a manager that is on the decline, that's at the latter end of his career, we're not getting a big manager. I don't want a big manager anymore. No. I've kind of succumbed to it. People will say, "Oh, well, your standards are low. The club standards are low." I don't set the standard. The club sets the standard on what we are after, right? Do you sort of get my perspective on that?
Yeah, I fully agree, mate. And what we are now, aren't we? We're a club where let's take Thomas Frank. He now is probably thinking, I've taken Brentford as far as I can go with the resources that I've got available. So now I need that next step up, a club that's a step up that can possibly offer me more resources, give me a bigger chance to go on and possibly win something. So for someone like Thomas Frank, Spurs is the next step on his ladder of where he's going. As you say, we're not getting Klopp or a Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, exactly.
You might, in say 2 or 3 years, get someone like an Ancelotti who's now just seeing his time out and thinking, "Listen, I've done my work. I'll take the Spurs job for a year or so." But we need to get that manager who's looking for that next step, has got young, fresh ideas, and knows how to get the best out of players. Because we're never going to be the club that signed the best players. So we need managers that are proven to work with players that are just underneath that top 4 level, probably, but they get the most out of them. And that's the ideal manager for us.
Yeah, I don't have you wrong. I have you spot on with all of that. Can we get there and get a decent manager in? No, I mean, when I say, wait, hang on, I use the right wording. A decent manager for what we need, we can get in. When I say a decent elite manager, no. As I said, I'd be happy. I use Geraldes. That's the one I'm going to stick with, by the way, because it makes me sound like a bit of a hipster because no one else has heard of him. So I'm going to stick. That's the guy I want because no one else has heard of him. And then if he does come in and do really well, I can be the one to say I was first to say his name. We're not going to sign him, by the way. I don't see he would right now. Yeah. So but for me, go and get in a young manager. Look at the Brighton mould and go. Do you know what? I'm not sitting here suggesting that we have to go and sign Brighton players. It sounds disrespectful because they're doing okay. But go in and get that level of quality that you build for this manager that comes in and say whether or not it works or doesn't work with him, we're following that philosophy. So the players that we sign, we are signing club players because Brighton, for anyone that doesn't realise, they sign club signings. Yeah. If we use the term club signing, every Brighton signing is a club signing because whether or not Herzl is any good or not, if he's great, a big team nabs him, like they lost Graham Potter to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Who did they have? Who did they have after Potter? Have I missed? De Zerbi. Yes, sorry. De Zerbi then got nabbed by left to Marseille. I mean, he didn't re-sign his contract, but then went to Marseille. And then they brought in this Herzl, who, let's be fair, I'm going to predict it. This Herzl guy he may not be the next Dortmund manager, but his next job will go to Borussia Dortmund. It has that weird feel that he's this sort of hipster kind of manager that will go in over there. But for me, do that, but on a better scale.
Yeah.
So build a philosophy on what we want to do. And no matter if the manager's in or not, we get the manager out if he's not very good, or he gets nabbed by a Bayern Munich, picking the name out of a hat, and then you go again. Then you go again, right? For me, that's the only way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Get Cole to 200. What are you on now, Cole? We'll make sure we get everyone on there.
Oh, be great, mate. Be great.
Yeah, I'm
going to drop, buddy, and love you and leave you. Been
Absolutely.
A pleasure.
Oh, mate. Listen, anytime, man. Go over and sub to Cole, man. Thanks so much. Catch you soon, mate.
See you soon, mate.
Bye-bye. Big up to Cole, by the way. Go over there and make sure you subscribe to Cole. Lovely guy. Really lovely guy. What's going on? Win the Dog should get the manager's job and take him from Arsenal. Daniel, I'd have Win the Dog at this point. I mean, this guy is. I'm joking, by the way. Win the Dog. Who buys a dog at the training ground? We need a manager to coach this. The manager strap. We just need to get in a first team coach that's good enough for me. That's how I see. Gosh, I'm skipping through these. Tottenham Hotspur is a second-rate club at best. Levy way kills us. Yeah, look, for me, I think we need to scrap the sort of big-name player. We need to scrap the whole big-name manager, go and get a manager and build for him long-term. And go, do you know what? Come out and say, this is a long-term strategy. Don't have to put time frames on it. If it doesn't work out with a certain manager, you go and get the next one of him. Brighton do it every year. If it wasn't Graham Potter, it was De Zerbi. Now it's Herzl. Bournemouth are doing it right now. They tried it with Scotty Parker, didn't really work. They brought in Iraola and he looks brilliant, right? Would prefer someone with Premier League experience. For me, I don't think that matters. I think that's a silly. I'm not saying you're silly, but I think the argument is flawed. Look how many managers we get that have been brought in from overseas and have done well. Not one English manager has won the Premier League, right? That's what I'll put that into context. I'd have De Zerbi. If he's unhappy at Marseille, get on the phone. I'd have Roberto De Zerbi tomorrow. Get De Zerbi on the phone. Say, look, we'll bring you to Tottenham. If you're not happy over there at Marseille, we'll have you. Get him in, and then you can build around a De Zerbi. I think he's a good manager. And I think you can do a big up to the people that just subscribed, by the way. We're at 2,584 subscribers. So thank you very, very much for that. That means the world. Yeah, Philly, I agree. And if you're around, mate, if you want to come on, let me know, and I'll send you a link if you want to come on for a little bit. We're going to go for another hour or so. We'll go for 2. Another big name will suffer like Mourinho and Conte. So I don't want them as in 18 months. Look, I think that's the key thing, right? If you're going to bring in a Jose, if you're going to bring in a Conte, you've got to expect the best, so they have expectations of winning because they've got reputations of winning. I now don't need them on. I can now actually hear myself speak. Jose, the difference is if you get in, I'll use Hertzler, I was using that as an example, right? If you got in Hertzler tomorrow, he hasn't got a reputation where if he doesn't win anything, he doesn't destroy his reputation. Jose and Conte had reputations of winning everywhere they go. They came to Tottenham, and then we went, hang on a minute. So that for me is a key. Well, my screen just went all weird. That for me is that's where it's at for me. I think we have to be really, really, really sensible with it. I did say at the start of the stream that I'd pop the like in at 50 likes. If we get 7 more likes, I'll drop it in, and for an hour, I'll get you on. Quick Q&A. We'll do a quick Q&A for the last hour. 7 likes, though. We need to get to 50 likes. 50 likes, and I'll drop the link. And then I'll get anyone on, and we can have a little bit of a chinwag on Just Talk Tottenham. For me, let's talk about what we talked. We talked a little bit about the Timo Werner thing. We've talked about when Ange gets sacked. It's not if anymore. It's when. When he gets sacked, what we're going to do next. I'll jump on. Perch above the Rose. I'll make Ben. You're more mate. You can come on at any time, my friend. Any time. As I said, if we get what we now 5 more likes, I'll whack it in. Get to 50 likes. I'll dump the link in the chat. It's there ready. So 5, hit those like button. That'll be wicked. For me, can we actually, the one thing I haven't talked about, I want to talk about Christian Romero for a second. I really want to have that discussion. And if someone wants to come on and debate me with it, Romero, by the way, I think is the biggest coward out there. People will hate that I'm saying it. And hear me out when I say it. He said everything he said about our owners, and then had the bottle of a melting teapot because he gave up and said, oh, he apologised the day after. Don't say it. Don't be a martyr for our club. Don't try and be a martyr for us as a fan base. When we all know the feel that Villa fan, we're not getting Emery. Emery's doing fabulously at you lot. I would have loved an Unai Emery. I think he's an amazing manager, by the way. I think Unai Emery's a top manager. And Ben's right, by the way. He's calling. What the hell's that? He's calling out the owners because what I know what he's doing. By the way, this is how I know players have got great PR ability. By the way, their public relations are amazing because what he's done there is so clever. I almost want to say well done to him because he's not stupid. This guy call out the owners. The fans are calling him out, so that's a plus point with the fans, right? This is the fan-o-meter. This finger. Call out. Then what he's done, he's got 18 months left on his contract. Now, by calling the owners out, that architects a move out away. Good. Fans will be annoyed by that. But then he walks away. And our fans will go, leave him. Well done, Christian, for leaving with your head held high and saying the right thing. Nah, I can see through this guy. I see through it. I think he's I for one think this guy is so clever here. I'm almost impressed because people have bought this nonsense. Jimmy, I'd have Michael Carrick any day of the week. I think he's doing really well, by the way, really, really well at Middlesbrough. I think he's a decent manager. I'd have him any day of the week for me. Any day of the week. Guys, 1 like. Someone hit that little tick button and we will do it. Ange is lucky because there's realistically no one else at the moment, whereas because if they wouldn't want to join us, no guarantees. Lionheart, I completely disagree with this. There are loads of managers out there. Absolutely loads of managers out there. There's no guarantees there'd be game changers. I think we have to get this out of the head, right? Ben's brilliant at it. We need to stop talking about Ben Kaufman in the chat. Me and him talk about this a lot. We need to stop as a fan base talking about trophies and start talking about winning consistently. a success for me now is gone so low right now that just staying undefeated for a month is considered success. There you go. I've dumped the link in. If you want to come in, I always say though, please make sure. Let me pin it as well. I'll pin the comment. Rule is, I always say the rule 101. Rule 101. We'll go for 50 odd minutes. 50 odd minutes. Camera must be on and have something to say. Don't just have something you want to talk about, because otherwise there's no real otherwise we're just going to be sitting here going, yeah, we don't like Ange, or even if you do like him, let's try and have an actual footballing debate about it. That would be wicked. Please, yeah, there's the link. Say what you want. If you love Ange, come on. Listen, this is the one thing I'll always never be, is I'll never be an echo chamber. If you love this guy, come on, we'll have the conversation. I don't like him. I can give you a heap ton of facts why this guy is awful. We'll see. But Ben, this, isn't it? We can't even win 2 games in a row. Let's see. I'm gonna do a bit of fact checking right now, whilst we wait for the first guest, whoever wants to come on. How many times this season we have won 2 games in a row at least? How many times this season? John saying, by the way, I don't count winning the Mickey. Whoa. Hold up. The Mickey Mouse Cup. John, have some respect for our history. For me, I would take the Carabao Cup every single season. If we finished in Europe, anywhere in Europe, but top any from first to whatever, and we won the Carabao Cup every season, I wouldn't be complaining. If we won the Carabao Cup for the last 10 years back to back, are we saying that's not success? We've won 2 in my lifetime, same as me. So you're about my age. At least I can garner, John, your age bracket. And if we win another one, the next trophy is... I'm confused. You're saying you'd be happy... The next trophy is we have won 2 in my life, and if we win another one, in the next trophy is we can only win that. What does that mean? Are we going... I'm not sure what you mean, mate. I need you to put another comment in and explain that. You don't count the Mickey Mouse Trophy. That is something done by the media that has made that happen, and social media. Mental, by the way, because somehow not winning a trophy is a Mickey Mouse Trophy. That is madness. So I'd like to understand what that means. And that's the only trophy you've seen in your life, and you don't think that's successful. Was we successful in 2008? Yeah, we were. Is that music? Would you take Poch back? Paul, I'll take anyone back at this point. I'd have Harry Redknapp back. I'm going to go with twice. Yeah, I'd have any day of the week. I'd have it. Oh, so this was so we've not won 2 in a row. I'm saying all competitions, by the way. Back to it, after I was being told that winning the Carabao Cup isn't successful. Madness, by the way. So 2 wins in a row in all competitions. In October and November, Man City Villa, that's 1. West Ham Alkmaar, AZ Alkmaar, 2. Then we went on 5 games in a row that we won. So, okay, 1, 2. So I'll call that we'll call that 3. That's 3 runs where we've won more than, we'll call it 2 or more games in a row. That's 3 times this season. 3. Where we've won 2 or more games in a row 3 times. Let that sink in. As a Spurs fan, we should be going into ever thinking that we have a chance, but Ange, I don't trust. Side dance, I agree. I don't back this guy, so I can't. It's not that. There's also an element of Levy probably not wanting to pay someone out of their contract. Lionheart, newsflash, Daniel Levy is not scared to sack a manager. Not being rude or anything. Daniel Levy is not scared to sack a manager if he has to go, right? He is not scared to, and he's also not scared to buy out a contract if he needs to as well. He will do that. One thing, Daniel Levy's very trigger happy with that. Mate, SDFC, big up my mate Coover, by the way, because Coover, not Bilbao, Sevilla. I was thinking Sevilla. Is that Standards FC? No. Standards FC, I don't have an issue with that. If you have standards, that's mate, we need to have more standards in football. I think the standard in football has disappeared, and fans don't appreciate the standards with it. For me, I'd love to be the Sevilla of England, where we just win Europa League, Europa Conference League. Yeah, they're not doing great, but you would put money on a Sevilla winning a Europa League, right? I've seen two. I agree. That's all I've seen. One manager will suit you for me. Yeah, Sebastian Hersener. I think he's a good manager. Look how good he's doing, by the way, in the Champions League. He's doing brilliant. Spurs beat Bournemouth 3-1, but Ange is no good. Ben, we should be beating Bournemouth. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We're Tottenham. By the way, what are we doing here? We lost to Bournemouth. What are you on about, Ben? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I've seen us win 3 cups since I started supporting us. Yeah, FA Cup and 2 League Cups. I'll do it every day again, man. Every day and again to win a trophy like that. Yeah, me and you. I'm assuming you're in your 30s. I'd say you're in your 30s. I'll assume you're in your 30s, same as me. What I'm saying is, if we win the Carabao Cup, our rival, I don't care what our rivals say. We need to stop. Big up John, by the way. Fair play to you. Fair play to you. But we need to. Football right now needs to stop worrying. It is a real trophy, by the way. Stop that. It is a real trophy. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And stop worrying what Arsenal fans will say. If we won a Carabao Cup this season and they won nothing, we will be bantering them that we won a trophy and they haven't. Think about it. Oh, my guy Philly is here. Let me put the headset back on. The big ears are back on.
How are you doing, Perchy, man? Long time no see, brother.
Hey, long time no see, man. We're back. The channel is back, pumping away, man. We're doing good. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, living the good fight, man. Watching the same dribble, same different day, same Tottenham. You know.
I think it's hilarious at this point now. I think it's so funny. I don't even get angry anymore.
Brother, I stopped getting angry years ago, man. I swear down here, Tottenham should win the British Super Awards, mate. They are the most comical club I've ever seen, brother. Real talk.
Oh, mate, I think we're hilarious. And we're having fans in the chat saying that they would turn their noses to a Carabao Cup, by the way. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? 16
years and no trophy. And it still belittle the cup, mate. How?
We win nothing. And because rival fans will banter us. They banter us because we won't win anything. It doesn't make sense. They take the piss out of us constantly because we win nothing. Like, I'll be honest, like, all due respect the people that would take the Carabao Cup. The Woodgate moment was great. Why would we not want that moment again? Like, for me, I think it's crazy. Big up Rinketic as well. Welcome onto the channel, my friend. Look, guys, mate, talk to me, man. Guys, Philly, what do you want to talk about? Let's have a chat.
Mate, towards the end of the game, yeah, I felt like I was supporting Rangers. I was saying go Power Rangers, brother, because Rangers to me, yeah, just stood up, yeah, and they should have won that game hands down. They were the better team over the 90 minutes. I felt they had all the good chances. Their forward that scored the first one, if it wasn't for Dessers running offside and basically, He is not a good forward. They should have won that game hands down. Spurs got very lucky to come out of a point.
They signed their striker from the Moroccan league, by the way. They signed him from the Moroccan league. If they'd signed anyone that was semi-good, no disrespect to him, I thought he had a good game, but he clearly did. He wasn't at the level and the standard to go and bag a hat-trick. If they had Richarlison playing up top, he'd have had a hat-trick. They had that many chances. They had that many chances that Richarlison could have had a hat-trick. I mean, they were that bad. Like we were that bad defensively, and again, it's up. You've had a bad day in the office, right? When Fraser Forster is man of the match again.
Yeah, Perchy. Yeah, if you've been around long enough, yeah, right. I've seen this brand of football at Tottenham under Ozzy Ardiles.
Yeah.
You score 3, we score 4. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable, brother. Sooner or later, yeah, team will just drop back here, and you can't get behind them. They'll score a goal because your defense is not good enough, and then you're chasing ghosts. You're chasing the dragon. It's not going to work for you. And under Ange, we don't change anything. We play the same way, game in, game out. And I stopped watching Tottenham play. I said, nah, I'm not watching this. I said, Salva's doing a watch-along, mate. I'd rather just sit there and watch the watch-along here because I'm not watching this. The same putrid football I'm seeing week in, week out. I don't want to see it, bro.
Philly, we've got a good excuse on Sunday, though, because the darts start on Sunday. So I can watch the darts on Sunday and not watch this absolute tripe.
I feel so too, man. I'd rather watch paint dry at this time, blood.
But Rinketti, before I do bring you into this, man, the Alex Scott experience, you don't need to spam the chat, my friend. Look, we know Daniel Levy is the problem. But as I always say, two things can be wrong at the same time. Daniel Levy can be a shit chairman and Ange Postecoglou can be a shit manager. It doesn't have to be one thing. We have this thing at this club where one thing has to be wrong and only wrong. No, you just put a load of chats in, man. I'm not having a go, man. Not having a go. I'm just saying. We know you're saying Daniel Levy has done it again. Done what again? He's fooled you all another season. How? I've wanted this manager gone for years. I don't put money into the system because I don't care anymore. I don't pay any money. When we say he's done it again, he will be here the year after and the year after that. They have built a mega power of a club. A mega power of this club. What are they going to do? We don't have enough people. I said this to Stel yesterday. I had this conversation with Stel. We don't have enough hardcore fans, and hear me out before I say it, that go, we could go and win 10 games in a row. Basically, we don't have 10,000 Brian Daigles. It's great.
The standards are too low, Perchy. I've said it for years, the standards are too low. So the Tottenham fans accept any rubbish. And they're so desperate for success here. They're clinging on to anything that they can grab hold of. And Ange, to me, is grabbing branches on the way down, right? You see this Werner business here, that is going to impact the squad anyway, because you're going to have players in that team, that have watched who just slate Werner, right? And Werner is who he is anyway, right? Because you loaned him twice, The first 6 months, you didn't see he wasn't good enough. Why do you have to loan him again? To loan him again, means that now it's on you, right? And you've taken all the you've gone out and told everybody, every signing that comes into the club, is yours. So that means you've now incriminated yourself here, telling me that all the signings are yours. So they're no longer Daniel Levy's to me. They are Ange Postecoglou signings, right?
Ange told us he signed these players. Why would you come out and say that at a football club? Either one, he did no research on our football club before joining.
Amen.
He didn't do it and gone. He went out and went, do you know what? I'm going to be the big dog. I'm going to be the one that says these are on me, because in his mind, he thinks he was going to be successful at Tottenham. He won't be. So he wanted to take all. It was a very, and I'm not calling him a narcissist, but before anyone says that, he's not. It was a very narcissistic move to say it, because in his mind, if he wanted to take the adulation if it all went well. For me, I thought it was naive. It was stupid. And then people go, what do you want him to say? Doesn't have to say it. Why only at Tottenham do we have to say, only Tottenham seem to have to say who signs the players? I don't hear Liverpool fans going, all the signings are done by this. Is this a slot? Was Chiesa Arnie's slot signing? You don't hear Arsenal fans going, was this an Arteta signing? It only seems to be a Tottenham thing where we only bring up who signed the players.
Yeah, personally, I think it was worse than that. Because if you remember Conte's last interview, yeah, he exposed the board, yeah, and actually put it there for every fan to see the club for where it is. And for Ange to come into the door, yeah, and the first thing to do is to go and say, nah, mate, the signings aren't the club's here, they're my signings. It means he took all the accountability from the football club itself. And that for me wasn't good enough. And that was the start of it. And then I saw more ignorance from him, yeah, when he said plan A. No, plan B is just more plan A. I said, mate, that is ignorant to the highest level, Rubai. Carry on going. And every press conference is the same. It's rubbish. And if you cut it down to the small chunks here and you actually break it down, it's actually worrying, man. That's why I said I need to call him in a white coat to pick him up, because something's not right with you, bro. And you're telling me that Tottenham have gears. You don't have any gears, brother. It's only neutral and that's it.
Oh, no, it's reversed because we're going backwards half the time. But do you know what? I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when that press conference was released in Daniel Levy's office. I'd have loved to be the fly on the wall in Daniel Levy's office when Ange went, I've signed all these players. He must be sitting there going, job done. Job done. I'm in the clear for this one. I'd have loved to be the fly on the wall for him, because now the accountability, he's gone, he's basically sat there and gone, I'll take all accountability for it. Because if it goes wrong and he gets sacked, Daniel Levy's excuse is banging. His excuse immediately for sacking him will be, well, Ange wanted all these players. They haven't worked out, and we can't be sitting 12th in the league.
Yep.
We know the problem at the football club is deep-rooted. But by Ange saying that has given Daniel Levy the easiest out ever.
Yeah, the free pass.
And people go, oh, but what's the point? I said, don't say anything. You can say, all you have to say is, as a collective, I always say, so if the question's asked is, these signings, blah, 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 did you make these signings? Yes, I was part of the committee that made these signings. That allows a collection of people that can go from X, Y, and Z of people that make the signings. Because that's how, in most football clubs, that's how it works. It's not one person going in going, I want player A, I want player B. Normally, you go into a room with, and we saw it on the All or Nothing documentary. I think Arsenal was a good example as well, where they went in and it was Arteta, Edu, some other fella, and they were going through all these players that were there, and they were going, well, look, this one is easy attainable, this one's not as easy attainable, but we think he's a better quality than this one, but it would take a lot harder to prize him from insert X club. That's how most scouting and transfer committees happen in football clubs. Right, it's not, as I said, it's not one guy. It's not Ange Postecoglou walking into Daniel Levy's office saying, "I want to sign insert player." That's not. They might have the odd player, but they go, "Look, I know you've done this. I want to bring this one from my old club." So they do that on the odd occasion. There's a collective. Brinketic, look, what is your thoughts on what's going on? Jump in, my friend.
No, I was gonna say, I watched an interview with the Brighton CEO. And he was all open, being like, we always have plan A, plan B in the team, and etc. And he even said, we even have a plan B for me if I want to go or if I'm not good enough. Like, if I'm not good enough, he said something like, if I'm not good enough, someone else better than me will come into the club.
Wait.
And what?
Wait, hang on. He said that?
More or less. The Brighton CEO.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, most businesses have a backup plan. Most businesses have a set plan, and just in case anything happens here, that they can fall back on. That's what you would call, being prepared for what's to come. But Spurs don't have that. Yeah. It's just Ange Postecoglou. They've got no backup plan for what's coming in. That's why it took 70 days to hire a manager. We know this. It's so sad.
And I think I actually said to you, Philly, a while back, like a week ago maybe, and people blame Levy, whatever. I'm Levy out, but whatever. But Ange has the tools to build a house, but he's trying to build a freaking castle every week. You only have the tools to build a house. Why are you trying to build a castle? It will fall.
Yeah,
it will fall.
I agree. I think this for me feels like it's a very much the walk before you can run thing. Let's be defensively solid, Ange, and let's worry about playing this gung-ho football. Let's not concede a goal every game. Like, it feels like every game we concede a goal. It's madness. Like,
yeah, purchase the same goal that we're conceding every game as well. Near enough. That's what's the worst thing. That misses the definition of insanity, Perchy.
Mate, we lose the ball sloppily in the midfield, and then they basically, teams just press on us from that, and then they score a scrappy goal that rolls into the bottom corner, or they get a shot from the edge of the box. I think we defend terribly, but the notion that all of us, but the notion that seems to be going around at the moment is the players are rubbish. That's the narrative that is now being used. But for me, I was told in the summer, Philly, you'll know this.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer, everyone was telling me how great our transfer window was. I was seeing what people, I wasn't on YouTube at the time, but I was seeing in YouTube comments, you don't know, Ange. You know what he's going to do this season. He's going to win us. He's going to win this season. He always wins in his second season. Based on what? Because the narrative in the summer wasn't, oh, these are all Levy signings. Levy bought all these crap players. It was, no, Ange just brought in one of the best young English midfielders in Archie Gray. Levy, Ange Postecoglou convinced Lucas Bergvall to join Tottenham over Barcelona. Ange Postecoglou, who was the other one?
Dragoshin.
Dragoshin. We nabbed Dragoshin off Bayern Munich. The other one was Solanke is perfect for an Ange system. Has anyone thought that? I think Solanke is. I think Solanke's an all right striker. I don't think he was ever going to get to the heights of last season that he got at Bournemouth. He's an all right striker. He's okay, but he isn't playing in this Ange system. He's a big boy that plays up the top where you go, do you know what? Let's get balls in. Diagonals into him. Let's get that ball to him, and he can be a poacher in the final in the 6-yard box. No, we see him having to track back, trying to press every 5 seconds.
So you're not playing the right player. You're not playing the players to their advantage, then, are you? You're playing them. Like Steve said it yesterday, yeah. Ange is playing them to their disadvantage. You're showing their weaknesses. What time in every game, yeah, we're seeing the defensive weaknesses of many players like Poro, like Adoshi. They're not fullbacks. They're wing backs. They're supposed to push forward, yeah, and go on the overlap. We don't play that system. And they're the two best crosses of the ball that we have here. So they would actually fit Solanke. But we don't play that way under Ange. And this is another reason I don't want to see him here. Because you don't play the players here to their maximum levels. Because you don't play them in the right position. Round peg, square holes, Perchy. And it's been for more than a year. Basuma is not an 8. Basuma is not a 6. He's an 8. He's not a defensive midfielder, Perchy. Yeah, when he makes a mistake here, or he's in the wrong position, like against Chelsea on Sunday, right? And he's panicking because he's in the wrong position, right? He's going to give away a penalty. And Villa's shocked when he gives away a penalty. No, I'm not shocked. I'm shocked he hasn't given away more penalties, mate. Real talk. It's the same with Sarr.
Mate, I said this after the Chelsea game. Everyone was blaming Sarr and Basuma for those fouls in the box that got penalties. But the way that we play, it's chaos. No wonder they're going to give away fouls in the box because we're always. I use the analogy, and I'll bring you into this, Rinketic, for this. I use the analogy: we play from minute one like we're 1-0 down with 2 minutes to play. We play that from minute one, like that moment when you go kitchen. Let's just lump it. We'll keep pressing. We'll keep attacking. We don't actually do any tactical work. I'm going to bring in James. Big James, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, good.
I can hear myself. Are you? I don't know if you've got echo. Have you got me on in the background?
No, I'm in my living room. Can you still hear you?
Yeah. Can anyone else hear themselves speaking?
Yeah.
Right, let me just go out.
Yeah, it's a reverberation there.
A little feedback. Yeah.
I was.
Bring into Rinketic. Go for it, mate.
Do you guys remember when last week when we played Bournemouth when Ben Davies got a yellow card? I looked back at that, everyone except Archie Gray were like in the box and stuff. Everyone was attacking except Archie Gray. That's why Ben Davis ran back and dragged him down, because he knew like that was going to be a goal if I didn't cut him off.
Yeah,
Like
I just want to pick. You're right. I just want to pick. Nobody forced Basuma and Saad to make rugby tackles in their own penalty box. Oh, look. By the way, this isn't me sitting there going, "I'm giving them a free pass on it." They were idiots. They were stupid. But look at the phase of play on how those were given. Basuma, he lost the ball high up on the pitch, so this is on him immediately. Loses the ball high up on the pitch. He charges back, has to make a large ditch tackle because we've somehow allowed Chelsea to be in on us again. SARS was just sloppy. But I want to pick up on this, and I'm going to bring James into it. Just come on. Yesterday's tactics, my friend. So yesterday's substitution, everyone was lauding the substitutions. I wasn't. He brought off Basuma and Bentancur when he knows full damn well they're unavailable for Sunday. When we've got an injury crisis and we've got players that are tired, and he brings off Bentancur and Basuma before the end of the game. Why would you do that? James, I'll bring you into, my friend. Why would he be doing that? It makes no sense.
Because his manager doesn't know what he's doing. Simple as that. Because the problem is, Bentancur can't play during the week. He's banned. So what? Just put him for the full 9 minutes. Get him a 9-minute kick out.
James, both of them are unavailable. Basuma's suspended.
Oh, because he got the yellow card against Chelsea, yeah.
So Bentancur and Basuma are both suspended for the game against Southampton, and he doesn't bring them off. I don't get that logic. He brings them. I didn't even
know his star was on the pitch. He was that bad. I didn't even know he was on the pitch.
Mate,
Kulisevsky should have started. I don't know why we start Brendan Johnson, one of the most awful players. Isn't it funny how he calls out Werner, but he signed him twice? Isn't it? It's just weird like that, isn't it?
I'm just saying James Vent is good. Go on, Vent, my friend. That's what it's all about.
Why are you calling him out, but you signed him twice on loan, and he can't perform? We all knew he couldn't perform. Any logical fan can work out Werner's not a good player, and then calls him out. Oh, I can't do a job. But you were telling us a couple of months ago that why are we criticising Werner?
Yeah, but big up James here, right? Tottenham loaned him the first time, yeah. Didn't they see him the first time, yeah, that he wasn't good enough? Why did he have to go back for a second time?
This is what I'm talking about. You go and get a proper player in.
Yeah, but the first 6 months here of his loan, the first 6 months here, right, from January to the end of the season, right, was that enough? Was not big enough sample size to see that he wasn't good enough? Why go back there again to go and sign him again, knowing that he wasn't good enough, knowing he wasn't the answer?
I don't even know, because he probably thought he was a good player. But squad fillers, everybody was waffling about.
The Werner one for me was madness. I think there's two parts of the madness with Werner. Part one, just getting him back anyway, was mental. That was mental. The second part of it wasn't even like it was on deadline day where we've gone, do you know what? We just want to bring in, we're getting anyone out wide because we need it. We signed him 3 weeks after the season finished.
It was the first signing, Perchi. It set a precedence for the whole window.
Like Philly. If I would have kind of given a little bit of benefit of the doubt if they'd have signed him on deadline day and gone, you know what? We tried to bring in Neto, but he went to Chelsea. We tried to bring in this player, but he went there. This player decided to stay put. This player. So we've gone back to Leipzig to get Werner on loan for the rest of the season because we just need someone extra out wide. Exactly. And they announced it as that. He was the first signing. So he was plan A. I'm not having any nonsense that Werner wasn't plan A. And second of all, and the reason why I won't call this a Daniel Levy signing, because people want me to say that, and I don't care. Daniel Levy, why? On what basis would Daniel Levy want to pay Timo Werner 165 grand a week
for a 28-year-old?
I agree. 29 actually, but yeah, I agree.
All summer, the whole job was to reduce the wage bill. Why would he do that? The things that happen in the window, the Werner deal doesn't align to what we've been doing the whole transfer window. Getting rid of the likes of Højbjerg off the wage bill, getting the likes of Ndombele off the wage bill. Wait, all of the big earners at the football club, and then instead, what he goes and does is go, oh, here's a player that's crap last season. We knew he was crap last season. Go and pay him another 165 grand a week to do the same again. It doesn't align. It doesn't align. I would love to see the financials on that Timo Werner deal. I'm a finance guy, if people didn't know. So that's why. I'd love to see the finances on how that was done, because if he was brought in and we paid him all his wages, which we were meant to believe we did, we can never guarantee it. But I think that is madness.
The funny thing is, he won't even get into Leipzig's team. So how was it? That should have been the indicator.
That was the red flag is Leipzig were happy to let one of their top earners to go out on loan, right?
Yeah, but James, don't you feel that's a bit hypocritical? Because some fans here actually called that league a farmers' league that season, when we signed Timo Werner, and he wasn't even good enough to get in the Leipzig team. So how is Timo Werner not good enough to get in the Leipzig team, which is in a farmers' league, right? Good enough to play for Tottenham? How does that work?
But the problem is they call other people farmers' league, and then apparently, and then when we go inside the play, this is the magnificent sign. This is the problem. But they're not farmer players. I think I'm not even going to say it, but like they've got better player. They got Xavi Simons. Have they still got Xavi Simons?
He's on loan, isn't he? PSG.
He's better than Werner.
100%. Xavi Simons.
Exactly.
Like, I need to dispel this myth as well. One second. Just 1 second. Odebert has come out. We've heard all the sort that the manager wanted Odebert at the start of the window. They've been wanting this guy for a very long time. This manager has said. The manager it is public knowledge that the manager wanted Wilson Odebert. So I'm not having this. This is what we do. Alex got experience. This is what we do. When a player goes bad at the club, it's a Daniel Levy signing. For me, I want the chairman out as much as anybody on this panel in the chat. But the one thing I will never be, and I'll never be on my channel, is disingenuous. The manager wanted these players, some of them. I don't think he wanted all of them, by the way. But the manager has publicly stated that he wanted these players. We can't then win it. My point is from that logic, right? From that logic, this is where Rinketti, I'll bring you into it because I know you wanted to speak a second, but I'll bring you. This is where the logic for me becomes really unfair, because if we're going to discredit Daniel Levy for bad signings that he's made, we never hear the credit when he makes a. Everyone tells me the likes of Van der Ven is a top signing. I think he's a good player, but no one sits there and goes, "Oh well, we're going to praise Daniel Levy for that sort of signing." Like, for me, I think Daniel Levy has got lots and lots wrong with this club. But as soon as that manager came out and said, "I sign every single player," he is right. He's got a rod for his own back for that. Rinketti, you go over it, man.
I actually had this debate with a Spurs fan in a Facebook group. Like, I was like, so he was like, "It's a loan. You don't know what a loan signing is." I was like, "Yes, Leipzig got Xavi Simons on a loan, and he's like 10 times better." And he was like, "No, it's not. It's still a loan." I was like, "No." And then I was like, and then he was like, "Yeah, Timo Werner is a proven player." And I was like, Xavi Simons, he won a trophy at Leipzig. Well, and then he was like, "What trophy?" Was like the German community shield. And then he was starting to like, "Yeah, that's not a real trophy." Well, you still have to win the DFB Pokal to be able to play that tournament anyway. And he was like, "No, Timo Werner is still better." I was like, "What's that guy on about?"
Mate, we could have had the likes of a Jadon Sancho on loan, or look, we could have had Jadon Sancho. I don't. By the way, Raheem Sterling could have come. They let him go at Chelsea very quickly. I thought and if you imagine if we'd have gone at deadline, that whether or not I like it or not, but Chelsea was smart. Deadline day, we get Jadon Sancho in from Man United.
Proper winger.
Know that.
Decent
experience,
winger,
been there, done that.
Decent winger, better than what we have at the moment. Like, yeah, you can get deals at the end, right? Last minute, right? And by getting Timo Werner, you kind of cut your nose off. I don't get it. What are we doing here? And I look, We're going to go for another 10 or so minutes. 10,
Yeah,
15 minutes.
Perchy, that Timo Werner one, I'll give you another reason I didn't like the Timo Werner one, yeah. We are struggling, yeah, with homegrown issues at Tottenham Hotspurs, right? So Timo Werner coming in, yeah, was another another overseas player, yeah, filling up a squad and taking up a squad place for an overseas player. And for me, yeah, that was another reason I didn't want Timo Werner coming to Tottenham Hotspurs. The fact that we reduced the overseas quota, yeah, to have Timo come into the squad was bad enough in itself, man. And I was just like, nah, I'm not feeling that. I don't want you here because you're not good enough. I'm not surprised when he misses chances. Actually, I'm surprised when he actually scores a goal. That's how bad it is.
Philly, I'll ask a question. This is for anyone. Anyone can take this one. I would have, for me, is this a damning indictment on the likes of a Mikey Moore that Timo Werner was signed? Imagine being Mikey Moore sat there, just signed his professional contract going, hang on a minute, they're paying this guy 165 grand a week. What are we doing here? Like, at least if Mikey Moore makes a couple of mistakes, you go, give him some time. He's learning the job at the moment. And we can I always use the term green shoots. With Mikey Moore, you see the green shoots and we go, watch him play, go, he's going to be a decent player. We don't know what level yet, but there's green shoots to say this guy's going to be good. Anyone could take it. Why did we not just go, do you know what? We don't want Werner. There's no point. We'll
if I was Mikey Moore, I'd get out of it. Well, you're paying him, and I can do. Mikey Moore's better on the ball. He takes his man on, and he can cross the ball. And this guy can't. I'd go, if I was sitting there in the dressing room, I was Mikey Moore, I'd just go, no, go and get rid of me. I want to go and play for like a decent Premier League side. He's way better than Werner, and he's 16. That's embarrassing.
Hey, I agree. I think Mikey.
This manager doesn't last till Southampton. He's going to get sacked. We're going to lose to Southampton. I think it's going to be 1-0 Southampton.
I don't care about the Southampton game. I'll be the first one to say this. Results mean nothing to me anymore this season. I just don't care. But for me, I'm looking at that quarter-final against Man United. Man United are going to dump Tottenham out the cup here because Tottenham should have been put out of their misery a long time ago, right? You just snuck past Coventry. You just beat a Man City B team here, and you're going off as if we're winning the Carabao Cup. Mate, when we play Man United, they're going to be hungry. And Amorim is one to prove himself because he's just come into this country. He wants to win a trophy, right, in his first season to stamp his authority down, right? So they're going to be hungry in that game there, right? And the way that Tottenham play, right, we're going to crap the bed because that's what we've been doing all season. When you're 2-0 up here and you're losing, and you end up losing the game, that means you crap the bed, Ruba, trust me. And that's what Tottenham have been doing for a long, long time. Now, when we play Man United in the quarterfinal, the heat's going to be on. And then I'm going to see this Tottenham team crumble, Ruba. And they're going to lose this game. All right. And if they don't lose the quarterfinals, they'll lose the semi-final because I don't see Tottenham winning a trophy under Ange. And that's why I don't want you here. And because Big Boy stood up in the beginning of the window, right, said to that reporter, blatantly in her face, I'll win something in my second season. Well, here it is, big boy. It's your second season. Go win something, blood. And if you don't win something, get out the club, Ruba, because I'm done with you.
You know,
mate,
put your money where your mouth is.
Do you know what the funny thing is about the Carabao Cup quarterfinals? Everyone else plays on the Wednesday and we play on the Thursday, so we will know who's already through before the game. Now, I know there's certain people that don't like the word, but how Spursy would it be if Southampton dump out Liverpool, Palace dump out Arsenal, Brentford dump out Newcastle, and then we go Man United dump us out? Like how Spursy would that be that you look at it and go, you'd have a cup semi-finals of Crystal Palace, Southampton, Brentford, and then we don't win our game. Bear in mind, by the way, that's not me discrediting those other teams, by the way, because on a two-legged semi-final, I don't think we could. The second we play away from home, I don't get it right at the moment. I don't see where we win it, but we will know who's already in the semi-finals before we play. Look, Man United, by the way, are equally in a bad state. Let's not. We use Tottenham as our caveat, but Man United right now are in a bad place as well. I don't know who's in a worse place. They've got the better manager. Amorim's a good manager. But Man United are a team that could probably nick it today against us. Like they would maybe play not the greatest football, whatever you want to call it, whatever that is, whatever that means. and find a way to beat us. Amorim could find a way to beat Ange very, very easily. Can I see us beating Man United? Yeah. I can see us losing as well. I can see us getting knocked out on penalties. Like, it would be very Spurs to get knocked out on penalties in our own place. I was there at the Norwich game, if anyone remembers that one.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying. I was behind the goal when the penalties were being taken.
When Tim Krul did that as well, I
can't remember. Mad, but look, guys.
In the summer. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go on, Rinkedy. You jump in, man. Go on.
Yeah, in the summer, I said I don't mind signing these like Bergvall and Archie Gray, but at least buy someone like this guy, Jumland, for example, the blonde Danish guy up there, for example, and at least we have some. And you know I don't want to get you demonetized, but the C word Jose used. This brawl here was because of him. He went against Chaka. so he's that kind of like captain, and he's that type of player. So,
mate,
we will be needed.
I just will say, I'll bring up some questions quickly, my friend. Jimmy Hotspur said, "Who confidently seriously thinks we beat Southampton or Man United?" Look, I'll always say, and I'll go first, let you guys all jump in, but I think the Southampton game could be one of the I think that has the potential to be one of the highest scoring games in football in the Premier League, by the way. Both teams are so naive into not defending. Like, Russell Martin has come out and said he's not changing he's the Scottish Ange Postecoglou, Russell Martin. He's come out and said he'll carry on playing the way he went. So they're going to be open. We're going to be open. This has a hallmarks of being a 6-4 sort of result. Like, it's the game that everyone will want to watch except Spurs or Southampton fans. Do I think we can beat Southampton? Yeah. I also can see us losing. I can also see us draw. We are so inconsistent. I could see us beating Southampton 5-0, but I can also see us losing 4-2 to them. Like, it's literally as chaotic as that. And the Man United game, I've kind of just glossed over on the Man United one. For me, can we beat Man United? Yeah, but I think that Amorim will out-tactic Ange any day of the week. Guys, anyone can jump in first.
Perky, I'm going to ask you a question now, yeah? Right, you see that Man United game, yeah? I'm looking at the game after. All right, okay. Here's the question. Let me raise it now. Which team would you not want to play the most, yeah, if you were Tottenham Hotspur right now?
What, in the league?
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Damn right. And that's straight after the Man United game, mate. The way that Liverpool play, yeah, right, they'll allow you to have possession of the football, and they'll break on you, fast and lethal. And the way I watched them play, yeah, and I watched them play against Bournemouth early in the season, and I said, my gosh, the way that we play, yeah, suits Liverpool down to the ground. They'll let us have possession, and then they'll hit us on the counter. And because we play a high line, them mans like Diaz are gonna run through us like a knife through butter, and that's not what I want to see, brother. And that is December the 22nd, right? And we are gonna have injuries between now and then because every player has to play in that squad. And this is what I looked at. I spoke to Sabbath behind the scenes not long ago, yeah, and he said about watching the Vince McMahon documentary, and I said, my man, Vince McMahon documentary, yeah, Daniel leaving him are the same, right? It's all about the green. Players could be injured, yeah, and they'll still be forced to play because our squad options are bad at best, right? And we are looking at injured players here. Look how Romero's out for 6 weeks and Van der Ven is out for 3 weeks. They were injured before the Chelsea game, yeah, but they still played in that game. Why? Why are you playing injured players in that game?
Don't. I just think it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I'll get your score predictions of the next two games, Philly, and I want to ask you the last final question before I'm wrapping up. So Southampton and Man United, what are your score predictions?
1-0 Southampton.
Okay.
And we're getting knocked out on penalties by Man United. I can just see that happening. I'm going to the game as well. I got tickets. I don't know why I'm going. But yeah, we're getting knocked out on penalties by Man United. That's my predictions.
Yeah, I can see that. Philly, my friend, what are you saying?
I'm saying I think Tottenham will beat Southampton. And then people will jump on the hill. Ange's back, blah, 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 blah. But I can see Man United dumping us out of the cup. And then next week against Liverpool, that's the one I want to see, brother. I want to see how good Tottenham really are. That's the one.
finish off on that point. Rinketti, what are you saying?
I think we will lose to Southampton, but somehow we will Spurs it through and win against Man United just because it's Spurs.
It wouldn't shock me. It's the sort of thing we do. Like, it's who we are, mate. It is who we are. There's 5 games left before we get to the new year, and it is Christmas spirit. Let's try and be. Remember, we are going, and I will remind you guys of at 3:00. The first recording of the FM saves are moving on to recordings because I recorded 3 episodes yesterday. I'm going to be recording 3 more today, so I can have Christmas off of YouTube, supposedly. But there'll be content every day, minus Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and obviously the weekends. But there's 5 games left. How many wins out of the next 5, and I'll read out the fixtures, are we going to get realistically? Southampton away, Man United at home, Liverpool at home, Forest away, Wolves at home. How many wins? James, I'll start with you. How many wins do we get out of those next 5?
2.
Philly?
I say 2. We're lucky.
Rinketic?
1.
I'm going to go with the majority and say 2. I think we will beat. I agree. I think we will beat. I'm going to say 2 or 3. I think we can. We beat Man United potentially on our day. I don't see us beating Liverpool at all. I don't care what anyone says. I don't see us beating Forest, but I can see us beating Wolves at home. I can see us in a way beating Man United in the cup somehow, because they're equally also all over the place. And I can see us beating Southampton. So I'm going to be positive and say 3, but it wouldn't shock me if it's 2. I'm at that point where it wouldn't even shock me if we didn't win any of them at this point. Draw at Southampton, lose to Man United, lose to Liverpool, draw at Forest, draw against Wolves. Look, I think it could be. Then after that, we're into January, you've got Newcastle, then we've got Tamworth away. Does this manager make the FA Cup 3rd round? And that is the last question.
I just don't know. No, he won't.
You don't
He's
think he won't make it into the new year? That's the final question for everyone in the chat as well. Does Ange Postecoglou make it to the new year?
No.
No? Philly?
I hope not, but I think he will make it into the new year because there'll be a reason that we don't spend in January. Because the club will use it and say, well, we don't know whether to back him or not, so we're not going to spend in January just in case it doesn't fare well for him. Yeah, we have to hire a new manager. So I think that would be the excuse.
Rinketic?
No, I think he stay.
I've toyed with this and I bounced it off I think he doesn't. However, because I think that the chairman, for me, is going to not be able to put Ryan Mason in charge because I don't think he's got a plan. And I think the chairman knows if he sacks Ange tomorrow, he has to put Ryan Mason as caretaker or interim manager. And I think that he knows that will make it very much more toxic by doing that. I think he stays whilst we're tapping up a new manager, and maybe in January we get a new manager. Maybe.
But we can sack Matt Ange now today, yeah, and go get Graham Potter because Graham Potter's not in the job.
Of course. But my point is having that, doing a very similar when he sacked Pochettino, and then the next day Jose was walking in the door. I'm talking about like yeah, you're right. He could sack Ange today, but it might take a week or 2 to convince Graham. My point is, I think he'll do that in the background, and as soon as he gets the all clear from the next manager, he will sack this guy. But I agree. I think he will be in the job until the new year. But I, for one, at this point, don't want this guy here anymore. I think he's awful, not very good. I'll leave it on that. I'm going to have to run because I'm going to be spending all day recording Football Manager streams. Yippee to me. I've done 3. I've got 14 to do. So I've got 11 hours left of recording. Fun for me. But make sure you check it out at 3:00. The recording's up on the premiere. So every day at 3:00, Monday to Friday. The only days I'm not putting them out are on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, Monday to Friday. We've got a match on Boxing Day. There's no point in Christmas Day. I don't expect you to be watching me playing a football game. Go and enjoy your time with your families. That's all I'm going to say. Guys, thanks, James, for coming on. Thanks, Philly, for coming on.
Wait 1 minute, Perchy. Ben K, this is for you. Here, look. There's ye again, brother. Just for you.
Man. Yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody.
And also, thank you for Cole from the Spurs podcast for coming on as well earlier on. Guys, have a good day. Chat. Have a good one. I've had a good chinwag. I will catch you lot later. See you later. And have a good one. Peace and out of there.